Hi guys, today I'd like to introduce you to Canon 100mm macro lens. This lens has been very popular for macro photography, both for amateur, enthusiast, beginner, or even professional. It can go low to f2.8, and it also has USM to ensure very fast focusing and great at the low light condition. The maximum closing distance is 0.31mm to infinity, and we can also choose 0.48m to infinity. We have two options here. One is for extremely close up for macro photography, and the other one is for longer range or normal use, and we can also change to manual focus if we like. This lens have a very pretty big zoom bar, which is like necessary for precision focusing. It's great especially with the live view mode that Canon Rebel series or higher end models provide. The focus is very fast, and I've tried it with the fast action photography such as a basketball, and it did pretty well. About the focal range, 100mm. If you mount it on the crop sensor camera bodies such as Rebel XSI, Rebel XS, or if you mount it in a 40D or 30D or 50D, it will be pretty long. So I think it's too long for me if I use it in the indoor or really close space. But if I use this lens for outdoor, like for example to take pictures of flowers, insects, or other small objects outdoor, it will be ideal. As you can see here, I mounted it in the lens to Rebel XSI, which is 450D in other part of the world. It's a pretty long lens, but it's generally pretty light. It's only 600 gram, which is almost approximately around the same as a kit lens, a little bit heavier than kit lens, but it's really solid and it's handled pretty good. Unfortunately, when you buy this lens, it doesn't come with the lens hood, so you have to buy your own lens hood, which is pretty important if you shooting in the outdoor, especially with a lot of light coming from the side. It is pretty expensive. The lens is around $40, I believe, with Canon brand. Okay, so the application of the lens is not only macro photography. We can use it for example portraits and sports. But the difference with the other telephoto zoom lens is the result will be a lot more contrast, because it's the nature of a macro lens, which is boosting up the contrast a little bit to make a small object colors and everything really pop up, which is a good characteristic for macro, but it depends on your taste. If you use it for portrait, it could be a lot more contrast, and it is pretty sharp, and it could be not some people will not too happy with it when all the defects or everything like put on the face pops up because of the lens is so detailed and sharp. So for macro photography though, this lens, even though it's pretty good, but when you really close to the objects, you need really to set the aperture pretty high, and because the fact of the focal length is pretty high, 100 meter, so we need to crank up the shutter speed up to 160 millimeter. So most of the photographer will work with a tripod for cross focusing, but on outside probably you can get a macro ring flash if you need extra light. So about the competition or alternative of this lens, if you do macro photography, there's a equally good lens from third party. For example, Tamron 90 millimeter is the price, and almost the same. It comes with the lens hood. Actually, Canon is a little bit cheaper, and also there's another option for crop sensor camera users, which is Canon EF 60 millimeter. It's a little bit shorter than this lens, but I find it's more ideal in working in the indoor, because it has shorter focal length, so you can really easily work around that. It has almost similar image quality. Some people debate that it's more contrast or something, but it's pretty minimalist. But the problem with the 60 millimeter will be the compatibility issue. If you move to if you decide to upgrade and buy, like for example 5D or even the ID series Canon camera, full frame body, and it doesn't compatible with that kind of lens. So but this 100 millimeter is perfectly compatible with them, so you need to consider it. Because of that, also 60 millimeter EFS is a little bit cheaper than this lens. So I guess that's all I can say about this lens. If you want to look at some samples or more discussion or about this lens, please visit my site www.radianlight.com. So thank you guys, see you in the other videos.